Come and get a taste of my mind. Come and take a look behind the scenes. See, we've been a five and we hero every day. I'm on the grind. I won't never ever take a day off. Everything I do is gonna pay off. Your little father time with me, with me, with me. You should try your little father time with me, with me, with me. Come and get a taste of my mind. Come and take a look behind the scenes. See, we've been a five and we hero every day. I'm on the grind. I won't never ever take a day off. Everything I do is gonna pay off. Your little father time with me.
Welcome back to another episode of Father Time with De'Meco and Blair, a podcast where dads talk about balancing fatherhood, relationships, careers, and passions. I'm De'Meco, resident dad to a wackadoo toddler. And this week, Mayari actually, this was not planned based on the guest that we have, but she actually got her first T-ball set. So we whipped that out this weekend. And so she's taking some hacks at it.
And I'm your play partner, host of Motion, country cousin Blair, aka Sir Winnie, father to the 8-year-old who is now looking forward to joining her best friend's soccer team. So dad has to be outside in the elements again to watch her play goalie. So it's gonna be a great time. And guys, we're getting right into it. This week we have 14-year MLB retired pro and founder of Golf Dads, Zach Neal, on the show. Zach, what's going on with you, big dog?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not a problem, man. We appreciate you taking the time to come out. So, Nealy, I'm going to call you that if I'm classifying myself as a friend already.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I got called that in baseball forever. So you're off to a good start there.
For sure.
Love it.
All right, so yeah. Let's get right into the pod, brother. No wasting time. Normally, whenever we got a guest on, it's not me and De'Meco chatting. We always ask the guest one of the best questions. And if you are following along right now, you should know that the March Madness frenzy is going on. So, Zach, who are your top 5 fictional fathers?
Fictional fathers. Good night. That's a great question to start. Holy moly. Number 1 is De'Meco right behind your head, dude. Bluey. Bluey's dad is the man. You know what I mean?
Bandit Healer. Shout him out.
Watching that show, I'm like, man, I could probably be a better dad. You know, that's just an all around good show. You know, he's playing with him all the time. You know, he's patient, but funny still. But he's GOAT right now for sure.
Love it.
The Bluey poster reminded me because that's the exact thing I would have said if I would have really thought on it. But that's for me right now. Yeah, he's doing it right for sure.
Yeah, recency bias. That Bluey stays on the rotation here at the house, and
Bluey, I'm in on that. Go ahead, put it on.
I've seen a lot of videos where parents will post that they're forgetting that they're watching Bluey because their kid's not even around. Like bedtime was 2 hours ago. We're still watching Bluey. That's kind of how it's been in our house.
It's a good one. So I like that one. I'm stick with that.
Bet. Well, for some of our listeners and audience members here that don't know who you are, Zach, tell us a little bit about the origin story of Golf Dads.
Yeah, we can start it there for sure. I was in Japan, so I'll just tell you how it all came to fruition. It was during COVID. I was playing baseball overseas in Japan, and I had come down with like COVID, tracker tracing. So I was, deemed, maybe I had COVID. So I had to stay in the hotel I think I was in the hotel in Hiroshima for like 6 days. So I had a bunch of time. Yeah, they were bringing me my meals outside the door. It was crazy. It was crazy in Japan, like on another level. I always loved golf since I was, could swing a club. I loved it. And so I was like, man, okay, like I just had a baby. Me and my boys from home, we had a group text and we just called ourselves the Golf Dads. I was like, man, that's like, there's something more to that than just us, like, messing around and calling each other, like, they would be being stupid on the course and be like, yeah, like, that's right. I'm dad, So they're just Golf Dads. That's how that kind of started.
Who's the golf daddy now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, right. And so I was just locked up in the hotel, just kind of spitballing and thinking about just some ideas, and started jotting down some logos. And Came up with it then, and it wasn't really, that was it. I just thought of the name, and one of my buddies made the logos for me, and um, I had how I wanted it to look in my head, and he kind of made it come to life pretty spot on. And I use this one, and then the one De'Meco has on his, the Circle GD. I use those two kind of exclusively. And so so I started it then, and I made a white and a black hat. From like one of my favorite golf hats that I had from a course that I played, and looked at what brand it was and reached out to them, and they made it for me. And it was just kind of off. That was it. I mean, I didn't really do too much else. And then I was so busy playing baseball the last, like you said, I played baseball for 14 seasons, so I didn't have a bunch of time to really pour into this. But I think it was maybe 2 off seasons ago, I kind of redesigned the thought of the company, in the sense that I wanted it to be more than a golf apparel brand. You know what I mean? I wanted it to have a better backbone, and I wanted it to have a spine, and I wanted it to, when you buy something from me, there's something besides just a cool hat and a cool logo and nice merch and nice apparel. And I wanted you to know that you're helping out and making a difference. And so that's when I kind of got in touch with the local charity here in Fort Worth called Hope Farm. So now I partner with them. I dropped the check off, and I made a video and a reel about it. It's probably a couple months ago now. From everything last year, portions of all proceeds that I make, at the end of the year, I'd go and drop their check off. So it's kind of a way for me to hang out with them and give back. And then since then, I retired in Christmas time, 2023. So I guess it's been it's over a year now that I've been retired. And so for the past year, I've just been able to really, pour a little more time into this, and it started to grow. And I like to make content that, dads can relate to. You know what I mean? And kind of now I almost sometimes advice for golf dads. Hey, I put out a reel maybe 2 or 3 months ago that said, when you take your daughter to the course, you shouldn't have any expectations. She hit 4 shots and she was done, and we were on hole 1. She was it. That was it. I was like, all right, that's fine with me. She'd rather just color on the card, or, just hang out outside. We plopped down in one of the fairways and, had some snacks and just kind of hung out. Some content like that's relatable. And so it's been fun. It's growing, and I've got new stuff coming out for the spring and summer soon. And, that's another creative outlet for me. I like design. I've always loved hats too, and shirts. And so me being able to design that for, dads out there that want to join the club, man, and just, if you're a golf dad, it, man, you know how it is. You're sneaking out, a lot of stuff has to line up your way for you to get out of that tee time. So it's a whole collection of different things, man. It's not just, hats and stuff. It's, there's something to it. And then, I appreciate you guys, having me on and letting me share that story, because it's cool. And I think a lot of people are kind of buying into that a little bit. So
I think that's really awesome. So often people are just coming out of COVID with, hey, I got a brand idea. And like you said, kind of wanting to create a brand that has a bit of a spine to it, and there's something behind it where, it's not just some merch. Everyone's got a cricket and a heat press to throw on a logo on a shirt.
Right.
Guilty as charged. That's what I'm doing for the Father Time podcast. But we're talking about fatherhood, and that's what you're doing with your brand. And obviously the partnership with Hope Farms. I think that's so dope.
Thank you.
With what you're doing. I think that is very, very cool.
Yeah. So a little bit more about Hope Farm is they help young boys exclusively after school. So they'll go pick them up from school, bring them to the center. There's 3 locations. There's one in Dallas. There's one in kind of middle downtown Fort Worth, and there's one kind of over here where I'm at in the west side. In Como area. So, yeah, they go and pick up the kids and bring them back, and make sure they study. They got to do all their homework. And then they can play and hang out. But it's just a program to help the single moms that are not able to go get them because they're working and have a bunch of other stuff going on. And so it's a great program, and I'm just pumped and honored to kind of share that with them. So
one of my favorite memes that you've put out so far on the Golf Dad, or excuse me, Reels, is the your wife can never say no to tea time when you have your kids with you. Like, hey, babe, I'll take the kids with me. I'm gonna go to the course. Like, yeah, that's an easy day out for her. She can mimosa it up, and me and the baby, like you said, she's done after 4 holes. Just get her in the car with a couple of juice boxes, man. We're good to go.
Right. Yeah. That's what it's easy. That's an easy yes for sure.
For
I'm
sure.
taking her. We're going to the course for. All right. It don't matter as long as it's not here. I don't care where you go. Like get out of here with her.
Yeah.
Give mama some time alone. That's for sure.
Grab a couple of Uncrustables from the freezer and call it a day. That's the newest obsession in the house right now is the Uncrustables.
I need to get on those. Yeah, she'd probably love those.
Yeah, they last because we'll just leave them in the freezer and then put them in the cooler, and then by the time we get to the golf course or wherever we're going, like they're thawed out and they're perfect.
I got a trick on those. You ever taken the frozen Uncrustable and put it in the toaster? That's a little
no.
That's a minor league baseball trick for you there.
And my wife put me onto. My wife makes them all the time. Like she loves making PB&J. And she will toast the crust. So she make pretty much like a PB&J and then like a grilled cheese. It's so fucking fire. So fire.
That's
what
I'm having for breakfast tomorrow.
So that's perfect for me. That's right up my alley. So real quick before we go back to pod talk or dad talk, golf talk, brand talk, you are a vet, obviously, in the baseball space. Our first can we say that? Our first athlete that we've had on the show?
I don't know. I was thinking about that because we've had Roger on and he was a long drive player. I think Frito played volleyball at some level. So yeah, I don't know.
I'll say you're our first major league sports player.
Our first major
show.
Leaguer.
So I have one question for you because the team that you played for, their biggest enemy and the biggest rival of the Oakland A's seems to be the city of Oakland. How do you feel about the mix up or whatever you want to call that thing going on in the Oakland A's facility? Because the fans deserve better, I think. But you would know from more of a personal standpoint.
Open up a can of worms for me on this subject. You can't see it, but I have a poster of the Oakland Coliseum, right over here in the office.
Yeah.
That Oakland, the Bay Area is my favorite. I played there in 16, 17, and then ended in 23. And it's just a very special place to me. Not only because that's where I made my major league debut was with the Oakland A's. I played for other teams too, but no, I played for the A's, dude. That was my team. That was my city. That was my favorite, one of my favorite experiences in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get into who's responsible for losing the team, I think there's a couple different angles that you can go at that, right? Ownership, obviously a lot of people point blame to ownership. I think personally that there's a couple different people to blame. I would say that the city of Oakland is to blame. Everyone, it's hard to tell what really transpires, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say that they tried to do as much as they could. Well, we'll never know if they really did or not. It's all he said, she said, at this point. But if you look at the past of what Oakland has lost, they lost when I was there in 16, it was the Golden State Warriors. We shared the same parking lot, and then the Raiders, they lost both those teams. Golden State's in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Obviously the Raiders are in Vegas, and now the A's are in Vegas. So there's something there that there wasn't enough support from the city, from a fiscal standpoint as well, investing into the team and into a new park. And also, too, if you've been to the Oakland Coliseum within the last 4 to 5 years, man, it's really tough if you were an owner of a massive team to want to invest money in that area because you're not getting the support from the city to make it how it should be. I mean, I don't know if you've been to Oakland in that area, man. Like,
I got some friends in the Oakland area, and they tell me about it's not the greatest.
No, and like it's just not what it should be to me. Like the city has a better like role in keeping it cleaner. Like the people there deserve that. In a sense that like, you walk out of the stadium and you're walking into a homeless like encampment that's, a mile long. Like you get off the BART station and you just don't feel safe to go even into the stadium. So from an investor standpoint, from the ownership, I could understand why they don't want to put it there. And at the same time, I also blame ownership for not wanting to, meet in the middle and find somewhere to do it, because this city, the fans, that is a baseball city.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of the games last year and the last year. Those fans were there.
They showed up and they were loud. They were loud. Like
they're there and they wanted it and they deserve it, and what really broke my heart was the people that worked at the Coliseum. They were the same ones that were there when I was there. When I first got there, they were there my last year too. The same people doing the same thing every season, working for the stadium, doing parking, all of it. It was all the same, so it really upsets me that they are losing that team, because that is such a special place. It's not just for me, but for so many people in the fans. And it's a shame, really. I don't know what Vegas baseball looks like. I don't, to me, it's such a storied franchise to just kind of like plop up and move. If anything, I thought maybe keep the A's in Oakland, and you can get an expansion team with the MLB in Vegas. So it's upsetting for sure. But and I say this, there's a lot of things these days that I kind of attribute this to, is a lot of times it's just the bottom line, and unfortunately that is how
super
that rolls.
unfortunate.
And you see that not only in that instance, but you see it across the map. And like, unfortunately, that is the priority. And I wish it wasn't. I wish that it wasn't all about that. And unfortunately, it's.
I mean, look at the Dallas Mavericks. It looks like it's about to happen to them as well.
That's a crazy move too. And I'm not a huge basketball guy, but all of my buddies are. And when that happened, I thought it was like a joke to see that happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
it popped up across Bleacher Report, and I was like,
do it. I mean, that's a generational talent just gone. Yeah. That's going to be an interesting case study too, to see where they were 2 years ago, and then where they're going to be in 5 years from now.
Yeah. I mean, they might be in Vegas with the A's. Who knows?
I mean, since we're on the topic of stadiums, I mean, if you had to give us your top three places that you've played at
outside of Oakland Coliseum, give us three places.
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, Oakland is special to me for different reasons, sentimental reasons. But there's other like parks that were, I got to debut in Fenway, so Fenway's crazy. Like that was a pretty awesome night, So Fenway's up there. Seattle. I started a game in Seattle in 2023. I love that stadium. That's one of my favorites. That's top three for sure. And then, I mean, obviously playing like in Yankee Stadium is up there.
That's
for me,
wild.
Being from the Dallas
old Yankee Stadium or new Yankee Stadium?
I was at new.
Okay.
But playing at the old Ranger Stadium, being from here was cool. So yeah, like those three were, they're all great.
This is the current conversation in the house right now, which is having a second kid. That's the current conversation. Looking at the age difference between Braylon and Grayson, you got Braylon at 4 and then Grayson's at 7 months. Seeing that Braylon's leaving that diaper stage, or has left that diaper stage, and now you've got a second one coming in. I guess if you had any words of wisdom or tips or anything about that new stage of having a second child coming into the family. I'm assuming that's a lot of new added dynamics.
For sure, to say the least. And I think I think everyone said that none to one was hard. Nah, 1 to 2 is harder than none to one. That's for sure. When
Okay.
we had just Bray for like the last 3 years, I mean, it was no problem. Just one. We had her. She was sleeping great in bed. She's awesome, but so we kind of had her figured out. And then to throw Grayson into the mix has taken some time for sure. But I will say, like, now that he is sleeping, consistently, and he's finally sleeping through the night. The first 6 months was like, oh damn, like, all right. I forgot what not sleeping was like, because when we had Braylon, I was in Japan. I missed 4 months of her life. I missed 3, 4, 5, and 6 because I was in Japan. So I didn't really. I got spoiled. My wife, she could tell me what that was like, but then being home for the second one and like not sleeping a whole lot, man, I forgot how hard that was. But now I feel like we're getting into a rhythm, and it's like, okay, it's 2 now. It takes some time for sure. And it takes, for us, it was like 6 months of kind of like in the trenches. And now it's like, okay, we can see the light, like things are getting better here,
Yeah.
I'm sleeping consistently and we have a routine, and things are on the up and up for sure. But, I like the age gap too, because Braylon is very self-sufficient in the sense that we can trust her to go play outside for a little while if she wants, just so we can focus on Gray, or so that has been pretty nice as well. That the separation in age has been good for us. Yeah,
It's kind of like having. She's kind of like building herself up to be like a semi babysitter. It's like, oh, big sister has it. There you go.
She wants to for sure.
Yeah,
I bet. Like,
Put him down. Put him down.
you don't got good upper body strength yet. Come here, baby.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now, and we're just constantly reminding ourselves that, yeah, we can have a second kid, but it's not in a vacuum. Like, there's still a toddler to take care of, and we are always reminding ourselves, and it's obviously not a decision we take lightly. And I think if we were to try to have a second child, the age difference would be similar to what you're dealing with. And it's a catch-22. Like, yeah, you see there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but like right now I'm in that. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, we're going to start potty training, no more daycare, like all those, like, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then we're going to go into another tunnel. That seems silly.
Yeah. See, that's where I'm at.
I don't like it. It's awesome though. Like, seeing them interact is it's that I can like BS and stuff. Like, it's so worth it to me. Like,
for sure.
Gloss is over when you see them, when you see those babies interaction. You're like, man, I made some cute ass, but we can do a third one. You want to throw a third one?
I'm anticipating.
How about
I'm anticipating a Bluey bingo dynamic in my house. That's what I'm anticipating.
That sounds like a great dynamic.
See, yeah, like I was like, you're barking up Zach's lane. So for myself though, like, I'm past both of you guys. I'm at 8 going on. I should be 9 in August. So we are like, fuck the tunnel. Like, we on cruise control. We are in the HOV lane, baby. We are cooling. And to like do some crazy stuff like, hey, let's baby it up at 10. Like, whoa, what? My knees is out. I can't chase after no baby no more. What you talking about? Babies. But I just saw a baby today at the shop, and it hella gave me instant baby fever. I took my smock off. I was holding this little infant. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. It's like a weird.
That's where I'm at right now. I got
hella
baby fever right now. That's where I'm at right now.
I mean, when the time
he said, just do it.
Just go for it.
I love it.
That's another thing too. Like, one thing I realized too, like I just said, like, it was the first 6-7 months, but dude, you guys know this. Like, 6-7 months at our age, like 6 months is like 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't know a time. It's just gone. Like, it happens so fast. And it's just crazy. I don't everyone always said that when you had been, oh, enjoy it. It goes so fast. I'm like, oh, shut up, dude. Like, you don't know what I'm talking about. It's like,
They
yeah,
weren't lying.
they're right. They
They
were
were not
right for
lying.
sure. And now I'm living that, and it's just it's crazy.
Looked up and saw my daughter 8, bro. She was 4. No, she was 2,
Yeah.
crying inside of a Starbucks. And next thing you know, she's 8. With
Next thing you know, she's ordering the Starbucks.
now, hey, Daddy, can we stop at Starbucks after school? Like, what?
And I'm like, caramel frappuccino.
You got Starbucks money? That's all right. So to get back on topic a little bit, just talking about like some of the challenges of like baseball and life lessons and how those things can mesh. You were kind of talking about being away from the family. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in your baseball career while going through this parenting thing that you were talking about? Because we know, just again off surface value, that the minor leagues are a lot harder to travel through than it is the pro rank. So kind of like talk about the challenges that you faced.
Yeah. So for me, I wasn't I wasn't highly drafted. So I was a 17th round pick. So, I didn't get a ton of money out of the draft. And if you kind of that, the more money invested in you, the more chances you get, the faster you move. Like, hey, like you can do it. Come on, it's all right. You can do it.
Hey, you can strike out 5 times. You can give up 4 home runs. That's fine.
Yeah, we got 4 million in you. Like, you can figure this out. The guy with like 80,000 in it is a little different. So for me, it was a little bit different road than some other guys, which is fine. And when I got drafted, it was there were 40 rounds, so 17th rounder. So for me, I think I threw over 600 minor league innings before getting called up to the big leagues. So for me, and this kind of translates to anything in life, is having like the ultimate goal for yourself, I guess, and the ultimate dream. Like for me, was always pitch in the big leagues and to have a career and to play a long time and to support my family and create a lifestyle that I wanted. That was like my dream, and that was always something that I was chasing. So there were a lot of hardships within the minor league time. There was a year I started in Double A for 3 straight years. So I would basically repeat levels for 3 years in a row. That was kind of tough. I was like, man, I was just back here, and then I'm back here again. Now I'm back here again. So I learned a lot of lessons, like perseverance. I mean, I could go on and on of like all the cliche words that you could use, but I really did learn that. And to look back afterwards, after 14 seasons, overseas, big leagues, minor leagues, trades, all of it, you kind of look back and be like, man, like you can do it. Like you can do it, and I think you can apply that to anything. And that's the one thing that I've learned, right, is being organized, discipline, having what you want at the forefront. And I always call it like the mountaintop, right? So you're going to climb, you have to climb, and you might fall down a little bit, but you have to like keep chasing that peak. So for me, like that's always what I had in mind, was my ultimate vision of what I wanted. I just kept plugging and just a little bit better each season, stronger. And at the end of it, you're like, oh, here we are. That was it. And so those lessons can be applied to anything. But applying those to parenthood too is, I think, parenthood's such a hard comparison, but I'm always trying to get better as a parent. I'm not the best. My wife will tell you I'm impatient. I have a short temper. I'm not as loving as my wife, but I think that there's something to that. Maybe innately, as men, like we're just not that way sometimes. She is amazing. So for me, I'm just always trying to grow as a dad and as a parent. And, and I think the dad too has a different role in the sense that I'm always trying to make sure everything's okay. You know what I mean? I try to see the family from 10,000 feet above, and make sure everything's going how it should be. And so they don't have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? So I think
silent golf claps over here.
Yeah, golf clap. But yeah, I mean, but baseball, it taught me everything I know, and a lot of amazing lessons learned along that journey.
Before you hop in, D, I kind of want to let them know, like, what you were saying is like it's you wanting to grow, and like that's like your goal as a dad. That's our goal as fathers in general, and hopefully that's for the people watching and listening, that's your goal as well. It's kind of like as we get out of high school, and I've been telling my kids this is like always be learning.
I always lived too, like my career, and then this kind of started for me in college, just because I transferred. I was at 3 different schools in 3 years, and I went to a school my first year. I didn't want to be there anymore, and so I transferred. I didn't want to do it, so I transferred. And then I got the school I wanted to go to. I went there, and then so that kind of like put me on maybe a faster learning curve for me. Being 18, 19, of hey, like I don't care. Like you never like, and I always lived this way through my career, and I try to do it in my life now. Is you never know.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well ask. Like you don't know what the answer is going to be if you don't ask, because you're going to be in the same situation if you don't. You know what I mean? So you never know.
The answer is no for the questions you don't ask. That's for sure.
Yeah, like
hell yeah.
And there are certain times in my career too that I asked to be traded. I don't want to be here anymore. You can release me. I don't care, but I'm not going to be here anymore. And I know that. So and I didn't know what was on the other side of that decision, but I know that I didn't know if I didn't try. So I was always down to do that. And that's kind of like how I pursue, golf dads too, is like sometimes I don't want to do some stuff on the Instagram, like it can be a lot sometimes, and it is, man. That's like, it's a full commitment, and making the reels and putting yourself out there, like that can be kind of a lot. You never know.
I had that conversation with a friend of the show, Jay Cooper with Little Sundays. And I was like, because he had started that brand.
Those are dope bags, by the way. Those are sick.
Yeah. By the time this episode airs, I think this will be our Masters episode. I think they've got a Masters colorway coming out and some other collabs that he's working on.
Well, his colorway, the Oakland A's are the Masters colorway too. So
exactly. Exactly. But we were talking about starting a business in this day and age, and he went into just wanting to make bags for his kid. And I was like, did you ever think that you'd have to actually run a social media page? Like that's like part of the biggest thing that you're doing. It's not making the bag, it's not the sale, it's the content around it. And I think about that with the show, and obviously by the time this airs, we will know who the winner is for the father or fictional father frenzy. But like that was a lot. It's a lot of posting, and it's exhausting. That's where you find that burnout, where it's like, this isn't the fun part. Like it's the work. Yeah. This is work right now.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times, like we worry maybe about like other people are like thinking about us. Listen, I'm not thinking about anybody else when I like go to sleep. Like nobody's thinking about this. Like just do it. Like who cares, man? Like I'm just gonna make
I'm literally taking that to the grave now, dog.
Yeah.
Keep talking to me. Keep talking to me.
Just do it. Just do it, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. If at the end of the day, if I found it funny and fun to make, then I could care less the engagement. Obviously, you hope that it's received well, but like I've seen a lot of people's like, once you put art out there, it's not for you anymore. Like you put it out there.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, that's, and I think there's a lot to take away with that as far as being a dad. I look at like the journey that you were on, Nealy, and the perseverance that it took to go through your career, and the lessons you'll be able to bestow onto Braylon and Grayson. I was holding on to the comment that you made about your wife seeming to be more loving than you and all those things. And we actually, Blair and I had this conversation, I think a couple episodes ago, that our kids require the different types of love. Like a mom's love is different. And there's a reason for that. The dad's love is different. Well, that's what makes a kid a whole person. Like if I gave everything that my wife was giving to my daughter Mayari, she wouldn't be as well-rounded as she will become, because I'm like, well, the world might treat her harshly. Not that I'm going to treat her harshly, but I'm like, I have to allow her the space to do those things. It may seem like it's cold or anything, but like, yeah, that's been a big conversation that my wife and I have had, is like, our parenting styles are different, and that's okay. Like, we both know that we're trying to do the best for our daughter, and it'll be okay. Whoa. Before we go any further, huge thanks to the Follow Time fam for tuning in. We seriously appreciate you exploring the wild world of fatherhood with us. Enjoying this episode? Then hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, it's the best way to support the channel and make sure that you're always on time for Father Time. We wouldn't want you to miss out on a single dose of laughter or proud dad talk. Oh, you got a question or a story? Drop it in the comments. And for more content, be sure to follow us at Father Time Pod on all socials. All right, and back to the episode. Peace.
So portions of the profits go to the Hope Farm in the Fort Worth community. And I know that you said that you're hoping to like expand that reach.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What is it that when you were, talking to your boys about it, or, in Japan, like thinking about the more than just a brand, like when that came into play, what were you hoping the consumer received and felt when they bought something from your brand, or when they became a part of the Golf Dad fraternity by purchasing from you guys?
Yeah. I think perspective is a big thing in that. And I've always tried to maintain like a perspective of, how fortunate I was growing up with a dad, an amazing father. And then I wanted to, golf is most often more of maybe an affluent sport, and the people that want to buy my things have the opportunity to buy them and help out, right? And I wanted to create a mission that that just helps out people that aren't as fortunate as I was. You know what I mean? Like I was very fortunate to have someone raise me the way that I did, and not everyone is that fortunate. So that's where like it came up to me. It was like, hey, like if someone's going to buy something from this, like I want them to wear it, not only because they're part of, like I said earlier, like the fraternity of golf dads. Like there's so much that goes into being a golf dad, but like, hey, I'm also helping someone who isn't maybe as fortunate as I was growing up, or, isn't in the best situation. So to me, like that's when it kind of clicked for me. It was like, look, like I want this to be bigger than just like, kind of like we said earlier, just a golf brand, like to where I'm just lining my pockets with golf dad stuff. That's not my mint. That's not like why I do this. I'm not trying to get uber rich off golf dads. I'm trying to like sustain the company and make a difference and have it be, when you see this logo, it's like, oh, like that's that one company that helps out also. You know what I mean? It's like there's something to it, not just wearing the hat because it looks cool, or just because it's a brand. And I felt like that's a space that isn't necessarily that doesn't happen much in golf brands. I don't see a bunch of golf brands out there like kicking back like stuff to help people who can't, kids that can't even play golf. There's a couple companies out there that, there's First Tee obviously, and Youth on Course, and there's some other companies that are doing awesome work. But from a brand standpoint, I hadn't seen anyone that was kind of doing that.
I think that all dads should have the pride in that though. And I feel like if you explain that to a person, I'm more willing to spend my money with a company that is giving back. Yeah. I'm more willing to give and do with brands and companies that I feel like have a message and a meaning behind it, much rather than just, like you said, trying to line your pocket. So I will definitely be a golf dad proprietor because I am a golf dad, but also
I got buckets on the way for you, so don't worry. I got buckets.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
I look like fucking Popeye in this though. with the headphones.
Nah, bro, Gilligan, bro. You look like Gilligan.
That's it, Gilligan. Yeah.
No, I like the thought with making a purchase of any golf dad merch that it removes the possibility, from my perspective, it removes the possibility of buyer's remorse. Did I really need to buy that golf polo? Yeah. No, I didn't need to. But hey,
Also,
there is something more than just buying the golf polo for the sake of buying a golf polo or buying a logo. So I can appreciate when I look at my new Golf Dad's 3-wood head cover, I'm like, all right, like this isn't just a normal head cover. I'm not I'm not going to show you the one that I replaced that on, but like I'm not going to do that with the golf decks. I'm like, it means something more. I'm like, it's part of me. It's who I am. I am a golf dad, and I know it's helping a good cause. So I
Hey,
think
baby,
there's a
can't be
lot
mad
to
at me.
Exactly.
Can't be mad at me for spending $150. It's going to the babies. I'm helping out the babies.
That's almost like, hey, I'm taking the babies to the golf course. I'm literally helping these kids out.
So you telling me I can't help out the youth? Children in our future. Whitney ain't tell us that. Just get real philosophical real quick. So this is what we're talking about it.
And you got to do this. A lot
Gotta
of
do the
this.
hands.
A lot of this. I'm very curious because you had talked about it, and I know like we don't really talk about the pandemic, but that thing happened like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about this 5 years ago.
Yeah, like how was that experiencing COVID in a completely different country? Obviously, I know that like how it was in the States, in the Chicago area, like I know how that was. But to imagine doing it in a foreign country, my wife had swine flu in China, and they like took away her internet because she wasn't allowed to talk about it. Like, yeah, so I'm not saying that was what happened, but like, tell me, like, yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, I mean, it lasted longer than it did in the US. Like I guess it was 2021. No, 2020 is when it all happened. And then 2021, it was still going on. Like they were still like messing around with it and like doing like the testing all the time. That's when I started the company. It was 21 because it's still like a huge thing over there. And like meanwhile, back at home, everybody was like, forget about it. You know, especially in Texas. I mean, they were like, whatever.
Oh, Texas, after 3 weeks, Texas was like, it's the flu.
Yeah, they're like,
everybody get the pool right now.
Everyone was. They had me going back into the office.
Yeah, and then so it was just completely different there in Japan. So it lasted a lot longer. And, you know, I played there in 19, had a great season, and we had so many people coming to see us in 20. You know, I signed a 2-year deal, and you know, so it was going to be 2019. Japan was like peak Japan. I feel like it was awesome, and then COVID just I feel like shut it down, and it did shut it down, obviously, but completely changed the experience for me. Like the baseball games, I started opening day in 2020, and there was no one there. You know, what would usually be like 38,000, there was 2 people. You know, so that was just so weird playing in front of no one. So to say that it put a damper on like the next 2 years of my experience is to say that lightly. For sure, it definitely changed all of it. But you know what is what it is. Now I have
perspective
from it.
There you go, perspective. I was about to say, like, if I don't go out to Japan and get caught in the pandemic, Golf Dads is just a group chat. It's not a real life thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, and I want to see your response. So this is me officially doing this, actually. I've never been able to do this to somebody. Welcome to the SEC from an LSU guy. Welcome. I'm going to say a couple things. So if I say go Tigers, that's fine, right? But if I say, so what do we do with horns? Because you're in Texas.
No, those are down.
Okay, so horns go down.
Horns are down,
right?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. So don't roll tide, never roll tide. We only use tide to clean our clothes. We go Tigers. And because you're on the show and I love you as a brother already, I will say Boomer Sooner.
Let's go. Yeah, Boomer.
Let's fucking go. So do you have like, is some of your merch like ideas or like plans in the future going to be more like college related, or are you going to integrate like your sports history and like community history inside of that, or no?
You know, eventually like the big picture is, you know, there's Golf Dad Chicago, you know, and you design Chicago Golf Dad stuff, and you have the charity that you want to donate it to, and then you just align with whoever you want, and you do
that leads right into the question we were about to ask you is what advice would you give to other dads looking to make a positive change in their communities? And it seems like you just answered that one.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to have like satellite
Sure.
spots, to where you guys run the Golf Dad Chicago office, and you are in charge of the August Golf Dads Classic every year, and we put on an event and we raise a bunch of money for whatever charity that you feel is aligned with our mission, right? Helping out, kids that aren't as fortunate. And that's just kind of what we do, and it's a Golf Dads Classic, and everyone knows what that means. And it's nationwide, right? And we go to North Carolina, we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like, what I would really enjoy doing is hosting those. And, the Chicago Classic, you get Chicago style exclusive merch, and I design all the cool stuff to hand out to everyone who donates.
My mind is racing right now of all the nonprofits.
But yeah, I think that would be the the ultimate, is to get into a big enough audience to where we are able to put on events and that go to the community. That would be super sweet.
Well, I will do the footwork in the Oregon area for you to find the places to play.
Here we go.
I do have one question just about the future of Golf Dad, since we're on the topic, and you kind of talked about like the classics and all those things. Like, besides that, what are the future goals that you have for yourself as a father, for the family, and then for Golf Dad as a brand, outside of just the classics?
I think trying to figure out what the best way to make an impact, whether it's on social media, whether it's, I think that's like kind of where it runs through, right? Like the biggest nowadays, one of the better ways to reach a massive audience is through that. So for me, I want to grow the page. I want my followers to, kind of gain like a feel of what we're doing and like who I am. And, so in the shorter set goals, like growing that and creating kind of that atmosphere of, hey, we're kind of all in this together. And then from a company standpoint, I would like to move into, it's just me. You're in currently the Golf Dad headquarters, so I do everything. And for me, I would like to branch off into a little bit more of like apparel. Like I would like to get polos, and I would like to get stuff for the fall, like sweaters and stuff, just to like really up my game in the merch game. My website's Golf Dad's Pro Shop. Like I want you to go on there and feel like you're in. And
yeah, you want Pro Shop stuff.
Yeah, you're in a Pro Shop. And for me personally as well, like I want to spend more time at Hope Farm. Like I want to be able to go there. The hardest part, I think you can all relate to this, is when you do have your family, etching out time is really hard. So because you really want to be there for them, but for me personally, and especially for the brand, I would like to be able to, commit more time to Hope Farm on a personal level. Financially that's different. But actually being like on the ground and in person, I did it a little bit ago, and I do the golf tournament for them. I host a hole and donate then, and I'm on the scene there. But that's also a goal for me too. And then when we talk about goals as being a dad, I just want to. And I said this earlier, I'm always just trying to better myself. Like I turned 37 this year. Like I'm just trying to be the best person that I can, and really try to live with them first. And then I think everything else kind of falls into place if I can just put all of that together. It's as easy as that, right?
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean,
so
yeah, I mean, that's That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Like we're in that same boat. Like it's just Blair and myself, like with editing, promoting, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like we're right there with you. And yeah, I would love to say we could grow the team where we could spend more time at home and do the things that we want to do. And hopefully we can get to that point. But yeah, it's very refreshing to hear how you talk about Hope Farms, and like it seems like it's very much a part of what you're about and who you are as a person, and wanting to be, like you said, on the ground and be there. Yeah, I can definitely feel that sincerity and genuineness of that, and that's really really beautiful. Like especially with the day and age of people just doing initiatives to check a box, it doesn't seem like that's the case here. And that's again going back to there is no buyer's remorse making a Golf Dad's purchase. So yeah, if you're a Golf Dad, shop at Golf Dad's. If you're a mom, shop at Golf Dad's. and there you go, man.
Thank you for coming on here to express your story and tell your story, and having that in the forefront of your mind. I know it's like nobody needs to be thanked for being a dope person, but that's like wild to think about, man. Like you normally hear like, oh, well, I didn't have a dad in my life, so I wanted to work hard to make sure kids who didn't have. We're like, no, Dad, like I want y'all to see the other side.
Yeah.
Like golf is fun. Like it's not, you shouldn't be intimidated by golf because you quote unquote can't afford it. It's an affordable game. It's a little expensive, but it's an affordable game. You can get a set from Goodwill. You get some used balls from Big Five, and you can probably hit balls at like a field and then go collect those balls all over again. You're good. So you're kind of like bringing
another angle too that I want to get into. You know, is being able to
get into it.
I hope to do that this spring and summer. Is carve out whatever it is, a couple days a month where I can go get some guys that do want to play. There was a kid that his name was Charles, and he is interested in golf, and I went and played with him this past summer. I had him over at the country club, and he met me there, and we played, and we just hung out, and we had lunch, and we just talked about what he wanted to do. Like I don't know if anyone ever asked him, what he's trying to do. From a goal standpoint, from a career standpoint. And so that was a really cool thing too, just to be able to listen and mentor him a little bit and help him in any way that I could. And that's something too, like, from the company standpoint that I would like to improve on as well, is, hey, like actually introducing the game to people who are interested, especially at the younger age.
Yeah. And you're also introducing mentorship as well. And that's what I just heard from you. Like, again, a kid who was angry and lost for a while and finally had somebody ask me, like, not what's wrong with me, but what's up with, like, what's going on? Because usually everybody see you act out, they're like, what's wrong? Or like, no one ever asks, no one ever sits and questions more than the surface level. But you sitting down and talking to that kid about his goals and dreams, like you said, no one's probably ever asked him that before. He probably never had one before either. That is a thought. Like that kid probably had a dream, and then like he saw life come into his face, and can't dream when, you got to be the leader of the household. You can't dream when, you got to take care of the babies yourself and then possibly have a job. So to have somebody scratch that itch again, or like plant that seed in him that like he can dream again, that our youth can dream, and not have to be a world of workers. Like we should have a world of dreamers and creators, and hopefully that's what we can do as father figures and as fathers. So let's get into we forgot one segment at the beginning, so we're going to get into that before we get into fan questions. Let's get into De'Meco's fictional father of the week.
Yeah, so this segment is our forgotten fictional father. I'm going to put on a prop here. So this forgotten fictional father, or it was on the Cubs organization, not biological father, but the dad that stepped up in the 90s baseball classic, Rookie of the Year. I'm talking Chet Sedman, father figure to Henry Rowan Gardner, taking him under his wing in the Cubs organization. it made me feel like I was a superhero when I saw that movie, because I also broke my arm and I was like, oh man, I might be able to throw hard, but I'm not lefty, so that was a bit of a waste. But yeah,
That was a
so
good
this
movie,
week's
though.
great movie.
I mean, I think there's a movie called Angels in the Outfield. That was a little better in my opinion, but no dad in that one, I guess.
That was good too.
I don't know. Donald Glover he plays a father
Oh yeah,
figure
Donald
in that
Glover,
movie.
father figure, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's
There's also
an
the one about the
underrated-
Cleveland Indians. Which one was that?
Major League.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was my one too.
I mean, I
With,
think-
Another good one.
Wesley
Yeah, I
Snipes
think we-
passing out.
I think we can get into it. Zach, give us your top baseball movies.
I'll let you guys guess number one for me. I don't know. It might be pretty easy.
Field of Dreams?
No. Think
Oh,
earlier
okay.
conversation. This is like what we talked about earlier. My teams I play for.
Oh, Moneyball.
Yeah, that's number one for me.
Number one, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. We were literally talking about Jason Giambi and
Yeah.
yeah.
We got to replace Giambi. What does he do? Gets on base.
Yeah. Yeah. So
If you don't say it, I'm gonna keep pointing to him. He's going to say it. He gets on base.
that was so good, and to just be like a part of just the whole analytics, sabermetrics, like as a player, that so coming up through the system and then being there around, it wasn't exactly that time, but Moneyball for sure, and then kind of an older one, but obviously like growing up, Sandlot, that was classic.
Yeah.
When I was little, Bull Durham.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lived in Durham. I lived in Durham, North Carolina for like a month with my mom, bro, and I got to drive past that stadium daily. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. The city embraces the movie too.
I bet. And then who else was yeah, you said Field of Dreams, but like The Natural. I don't know if you remember that. Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
I haven't. No.
that's an older one, yeah, or a classic, I would say.
Yeah. So those are, but Moneyball is probably number one for me.
For sure.
I thought it's like, funny and pretty very realistic, and exactly what was going on. So that for me, Moneyball was probably number
I think the one
It's
that I
up there.
like that's kind of like in that same Moneyball realistic baseball realm is Trouble with the Curve.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's a
one.
real good one.
rom-com. You like, yeah, isn't that a rom?
I like myself a little rom com, baby.
Who doesn't?
So when I thought of the question that I knew that I was going to ask you, that I had already kind of came up with my list, and I was like, all right, yeah, Sandlot is number one for me. Number two would be Fever Pitch. You could probably appreciate that with being debuting at Fenway. That was with Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon.
Yes, Jimmy Fallon.
And then you might appreciate this for being a pitcher, but Summer Catch with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel. And like those movies, especially that Summer Catch one, and then I think about For the Love of the Game. When I think about my journey as a golfer, I was like, the whole clear the mechanism, like getting into that flow state.
That's a really good one too. Yeah.
Those are the things that
there are.
So many.
I was about to say, I've never heard of these many baseball movies.
You forget that there's so many.
Yeah, A League of Their Own is something I'm always reminded of as well. That's a classic as well.
So crying in baseball. And every time you win a championship, there's mad tears.
Yeah,
Crying in baseball.
Exactly.
So let's get into those fan questions, man. This is brought to you by nobody yet. Hopefully you. Let's get into these fan mail questions, man.
So this one, Zach, is actually specifically directed to you. Friend of the show, Steve, asked, how does one handle the trade deadline from a personal and family aspect?
Yeah, I think for me, like I was never like quote unquote on the trading block. You know what I mean? But I think you start to just, as a baseball player, even with your family, like the family dynamic is you're just used to living anywhere. And I think not doing that, like it takes some time for me to just I've been home for like the last year and a half. And that to me is sometimes weird because I was used to like, hey, I'm going to be in an apartment in Vegas. Oh, hey, we just got called up. We're going to go to Oakland. Whole family's flying to Oakland. We're in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
We're in this apartment. We're in that apartment. So it's like, you kind of just get numb to where you are and like what you're wearing. Like it's truly, a job. So like from the professional standpoint, I mean, obviously I think it's a little different if like you're a storied guy who's been in the same organization for a long time, and you maybe get traded to someone else and it's a completely new scene. But most baseball guys are just, we're on the roll. We're ready to go with whatever.
Everybody's on the road.
Yeah. The road was home for so long. Like living out of a suitcase was the normal. And now it's
it sounds like living life as a wrestler, like a pro wrestler. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm thinking of that movie with Dennis Quaid, The Rookie, where he gets
another great one
called up. Yeah, the only reason I didn't list that is like, yeah, like he was going to be one of the fictional dads I was going to mention, but he's not. He's a Chris Gardner. That's a real person.
That's a real person.
I have to remind myself that's a real.
Put Chris Gardner on those though.
That's a real guy.
The funny thing is the guy that Dennis Quaid plays looks nothing like Dennis Quaid. If you Google a picture of who that player looks like, it does not look like Dennis Quaid.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Wild.
I also have a very specific fan question. Sorry to cut you off.
Let's do it.
From my homegirl Becky. Shout out to Becky. She owns a barbershop called The Dugout here in Eugene. So if you ever come to town, that's where you should go. If not to me. But she says, and you kind of answered this before, what was your favorite memory of that team as a fan growing up?
So I really liked, this is going to sound weird, but I did like Oakland. I liked that they all wore white spikes. That was fresh.
Ooh, okay.
And like sometimes they don't wear white spikes now, and I'm like I feel like I am an old guy. I'm like, I was looking around in the clubhouse. I'm like, where's your white spikes, dude? What do you think this is? Like, God, he's wearing yellow cleats. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, put your white. We wear white around here, So like, I always love the fresh white cleats. Like no other team. Like a lot of guys wear white cleats now, but back in the day, like the clean Oakland jerseys, all white with white spikes, is the freshest look. And even like the gray pants. So I always liked the A's, and then I liked Boston because I liked Josh Beckett. So I wouldn't say that I had like teams. Obviously, I liked the Rangers, right? But I liked players. I liked Josh Beckett was like my favorite pitcher. The dude was a baller, just a stud. So growing up, like I would just kind of model myself after different players, I guess more than teams, But obviously being in Texas, I grew up going to the Ranger games with my dad. And so like those memories are always at that stadium. And so I think definitely the Rangers, but also like players all around that I liked too.
Were you a high sock player?
Stirrup?
In the like pro ball?
Yeah.
No. Pants down.
No. Pants down.
Pants down.
Got it. I would have been a high sock guy. I would have been a
stirrup guy.
Not a lot of high sock guys in the big leagues.
It really isn't. No, it really isn't. So
there's a couple.
A walkout song.
Yeah.
What was it?
Most recently, I was walking out in Oakland to some Grateful Dead. I'm a big Grateful Dead guy. So I was, Bay Area, Grateful Dead's from the Bay. I was walking out to Grateful Dead. I was sick. And then I'm a big Sturgill Simpson guy. He's my favorite artist. So I was like rotating between Sturgill Simpson and Grateful Dead.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
I see it behind you.
Yeah.
So those are my two like most recent.
What was the high school song? Because like we're all around the same age, so I'm very curious to know what
it was
this.
Probably some sort of like Texas rap, probably like Paul Wall or like Bundy.
Swisher House.
Yeah, something like that. That's still like my favorite for sure.
That's awesome.
That era is untouched, dude. That's the best for me.
You cannot tell me shit about 2000s third
Early
coast
2000s,
hip
yeah.
hop. Third coast hip hop. You can, hey, chops and screws, syrup sipping. I got a Jeep right now. I swing in my Jeep whenever it's midnight and there's nobody on the road. Catch me in my Jeep swinging down
Yeah.
MLK.
I remember going to get like the Games album in high school, like when it came out. Ti,
Yeah. Ooh,
it was that was I love
what a
that.
fucking time.
So all of that too, I was probably mixing in a little bit of that.
That's lit. That's lit.
I still
I'm
listen to
curious
that
from
now, and in the garage,
Oh,
I'm
for
working
sure.
out. Like that's the neighbors are like, "What's he listening to?" I'm like,
Stay 50 yards away, Karen. This one's not for you. I think you were going to preference and ask me questions of like what would my walk-up
Yeah.
song be?
yeah.
It would be Loaded Bases by Nipsey Hussle.
Okay, yeah.
And that's only because it's on MLB The Show. And whenever I created my two-way pitcher and center fielder, that was his,
Yeah.
that was his walk-up song.
I'm starting to think like in high school it was like I think it was like Paul Wall, like "Break 'Em Off." I don't know if you remember that song. That was it. That was the walkout.
Hey, bro, you are solidified.
Multifaceted over here. Yeah, I think mine would have been "Go Hard or Go Home" by E40.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
That was the first song that I was like, oh, this goes hard. All right, for the group, a quick 9 or a range session.
Ooh,
man, I went to the range the other day and was just I think I need to just not range because it doesn't. I could go to the range and flush balls for an hour, and I'll go out the next day and it's not the same. Like I think just playing is better than and I think too sometimes the range, like I can get a little mental with it instead of like being an athlete and like just doing what feels right that day. Like I don't know. I posted this the other day when I was at the range. Like I don't know what I'm doing, but it feels good. Like I don't. It's just that's how I am. Like when I play golf. I don't know what that is, but it looks like I can hit it consistently, and I don't know. I'm pretty decent, so for me, always I'm gonna go 9. I like to play 9 and play like 3 balls, like and like chase the 3 around and see 2 or 3 balls, and that way that's kind of like practice too. I'd prefer
for sure.
I would say a quick 9 as well. We have a few courses here. Laurelwood is a 9. It's a long 9. And then I have Oakway, which is like my home course. It's literally just like a muni. I can pull up there, $10, play the back 9, front 9. God get me on if I call them beforehand. So I'm much rather do that than to go to the practice session because those mats, I don't like hitting off mats because you don't get to hit off of a mat on the golf course. And the mat gives you a false sense.
Leave. I can't do that.
Yeah, it gives you a false sense. It gives you a false sense of confidence because it's, I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's just like my ball is always bouncing perfect. And I'm like, all right, that's my swing. That's my swing. And I do that same exact lineup, same exact swing, same exact contact. And that bitch is fucking going to right field. I'm like, what the
yeah, turf is fake. That's fake news, man. That is like
fake lore about that. So yeah, give me a 9 all day.
Gotcha.
And I'm the same way. I'm gonna drop 2 balls. I'm gonna play 2 balls. Hopefully they're around the same area, so I'm not like right and then middle. So I hope it's somewhere close.
You can say play 2 balls. Like which ball like beats the other one. You know what I mean?
Ooh, beat yourself. Play yourself.
I'm a range guy.
Range, all right.
The range has always been my therapy place. Like you say, being on the range allows you to, like, you got mental. I liked being there. Like I liked trying to figure it out. And I mean, growing up in Chicago, that's how I learned on mats. So like, that's like safe for me. Like that's home for me.
This man also wanted to be Tiger growing up, so the mental aspect of beating himself up on the golf course was perfect for him. He was at home.
Yeah, facts.
I am not.
Facts. Last fan question. I'm curious on two fronts for you, Zach. Superstitions. Now, as a baseball player, I know that baseball players can be very superstitious. Did any of those superstitions carry over to the golf course and or superstitions as a dad? Because my wife just asked me, like, "Ooh, superstitions as a dad. That's interesting." I'm like, I have no idea how to even unpack a superstition as a dad. But yeah, let's hear your thoughts on superstitions here.
In baseball, I didn't have too many, right? Like I would always like listen to the same playlist, obviously getting ready. But I wouldn't call those superstition. I would just kind of like fell into routines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always like in baseball, if I was starting the next day, like I had all my like stuff like perfectly laid out, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
my cleats, were like already cleaned and like my socks were in them, and I wasn't like everything was. And if I was wearing white, I was gonna like hang the white jersey up, So I was very organized. So I got there the next day, like I'm ready to rock, like there's no, fiddle faddle around. Like I'm here and like ready to go. But with golf, not too bad. If I have had like some polos I'll wear and like play horrible, and I'll like go to wear it again. I'm like, like I don't remember.
Black and pink don't work no more, y'all.
Yeah, and so like I always say too, like the putters. I have like some putters in the garage, and if I'm on the course and putting well, like like someone says, "Oh, you're really putting well with that putter." I'm like, "Hey man, like chill out. He's gonna hear you and like start." Like you got.
He's still trying to earn his spot in the bag.
He's been here for 6 months, but I'll put his ass in the closet fast. Start acting up.
You act your ass up, you go back in the closet.
Yeah, right. But as a dad,
put you next to that old Scotty from 12 years ago. He's like, please don't do it.
I put irons in the bag the other day from 2008, so like I'm not scared to mix it up.
Wow,
there you go.
But as a dad, I would say not. I haven't really found any as a dad. Maybe just like having the coffee ready in the morning.
For sure.
Making sure that's locked in, and then sometimes like if the baby like sleeps great through the night, it's like, oh, what did he wear the other night when he slept?
Yeah, my superstitions, not as like a personal level superstition, but definitely as a golfer, like Blair said, like I played competitively, so I always had to have a solid ball marker. That was huge.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would always depend on however I wanted to play. My favorite ball marker, I'm gonna shout out Custom Ball Markers Canada. He made with the Masters logo, Masters inspired logo, but it was just the silhouette of a goat and then the Masters flag, and it 2019, and then it was Tiger, and I was like, oh, well, it was when he announced he was gonna play in it, so I bought it before he won, and so I have he only made like a run of like 8 or 9 ball markers, and I got 1 of 9, 2 of 9, and then 3 of 9. I'm like, I'm buying 3 of these things. That's probably my favorite ball marker.
So I'm getting one of those when I come to Chicago, right?
I think I have one more. So yeah, you got one.
I don't have any superstitions on the golf course. I'm gonna quote my wife here. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious. So I do have to make sure that like I keep my ball marker in my sock, in my right sock on the inside heel, like on the inside instead of the outside. That's the only thing that I need, so that my ball marker just has to go there or something.
Do you use that one out of that sock?
Yeah. So like whenever I like go down to like, so like after once I'm on the green, I'll like bend down, put the marker down, and that's like now I'm in my Tiger zone.
You rocking like a little higher socks now? Like I moved into like some like through and like
This is me all day, baby.
My ankles show out on the golf course. I wear absolute no shocks.
If we play in May and you fucking have ankle socks on, I'm joining another group.
You're going to see these ankles.
I'm joining another group.
See these ankles.
I'm in another group instantly. It's not happening. But all right, so hey, bro, and I wear socks with flair. Like most of my socks are designer socks. I got the Loke socks in right now because I was just wearing black at the shop.
I need to see those on the course.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I got you, baby. But no, so he's done with his tea. I'm done with my beer. I feel like we could be talking for forever, and you guys know I said that every damn episode. But he's in Texas, and I'm pretty fucking sure you're at least an hour ahead of me. You're 2 hours ahead of me.
No, I think we're in the same time zone.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I want both of you guys to be able to get to bed at a proper time. You got your babies, you got yours. My kid is not here until tomorrow, so Yeah, really. Yeah, cool. Thanks, thank you, Zach. We appreciate you so much for coming on. Thank you for talking about your life stories, your journey from baseball to Japan to Golf Dads. Bringing up Hope Farm. Shout out to the people over at Hope Farm. If you guys are listening or watching right now, please go over to golfdadsproshop.com. Make sure that when you buy something, you buy it with pride, because you are helping out kids to be able to expand this game of golf and have a little mentorship in the Fort Worth area. I'm your player partner, host of Motion Country Cousin Blair, K. Sir Winnie. That's De'Meco and that's Neal. Thank you all for showing up. 70 years of the M's being in Eugene, and we are finally leaving. So goodbye to the M's.
Come and get a taste of my mind. Come and take a look behind the scenes. See who's been a father, see the hero every day. I'm on the grind. I will never ever take a day off. Everything I do is gonna pay off. Your little father time with me, with me, with me. You should try your little father time with me, with me, with me. Come and get a taste of my mind. Come and take a look behind the scenes. See who's been a father, see the hero every day. I'm on the grind. I will never ever take a day off. Everything I do is gonna pay off. Your little father time with me.